If you're looking to start an embroidery business, you need to find out if it's actually profitable and worth your time, right? Embroidery has been around for centuries, and it's easy to see why. It's classic, it's beautiful, and it's also so customizable that the options for what you can make are limitless. You can make personalized items like gorgeous wall hangings to baby blankets with the baby's initials on it, and you can really make bank because they're so popular and in demand. If you're looking to start an embroidery business of your own, the good news is that this is a dependable business with a large built-in customer base already that isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Embroidery is a classic art form that people will always be interested in. However, it is also extremely competitive, especially as more and more people are trading in their office jobs for an embroidery machine during the pandemic. Still, I don't want you to let the competition keep you from turning your passion for embroidery into a full-time business. Because with the right strategy and tools, you can absolutely stand out. Hi, I'm May Pak, and I help makers, artists, and designers make a living by selling their handmade products online. I run 3 creative online businesses, and they each make me a full-time income, so I'm here today to hopefully help give you some direction on your new business. So the market size value for the embroidery industry, which makes up about 1/3 of the apparel design industry, is estimated at over $32 billion. And that's expected to jump to $55 billion by 2025, according to Grand View Research. It's safe to say that with an already large market base that's continuing to grow, this is one handmade business that artists can potentially make a lot of money from, especially if you can find a way to make your business stand out. An embroidery business doesn't require a lot of upfront costs to get started. So this low initial cost means you won't be spending tons of money just to make your product in the first place. I mean, an embroidery machine can get pricey, but that will be the biggest expense you make when it comes to the actual product creation. But you can also make everything by hand, which I know a lot of successful embroidery artists do. We'll do kind of a price breakdown later on so you can see exactly how much you might expect to spend when just starting out. There are some cons to running this type of business though. Like I said before, it is highly competitive. If you search embroidery in Etsy, almost 2 million results come up. It'll be hard work to stand out among those millions of competitors, but if you tap into the right niche and implement smart marketing strategies, you will have a much better chance of making it. So with that in mind, if you decide to start a handmade embroidery business of your own, the first thing you want to do is find your niche. Finding your niche is so important because this is what will make you stand out and also give you focus. Because people think that trying to make a ton of different products and appealing to everyone is what will help you make sales. But that is not the case. You'll only be confusing to other people. Not only that, but when you establish yourself in a specific niche, you become known for what you do. So when people are looking for nerdy, embroidered, feminist art, for instance, they will know to go to you. To find your niche, start by doing market research and look at what's currently selling and selling well on Etsy, Amazon, or what people are engaging a lot with on Instagram to get a sense for what's popular. For embroidery, wooden hoop wall art and personalized baby wear are super trendy and therefore really competitive. But that doesn't mean that you can't tap into those markets. You just need to figure out how you can make your products different or better than what's already out there. Something to think about is personalization. So instead of embroidering patterns onto a wooden hoop, can you embroider pet portraits? Instead of embroidering baby blankets, can you customize denim jackets with brightly colored flowers or business logos? Embroidered masks could also be something to explore as people are wanting to express their style with their face masks these days, but I would also make sure you do have an idea for how to expand your business now that the vaccine is out and masks might not be needed in the long term anymore. Choose a niche that you are actually interested in, because if you don't, you will risk burning out. When you're working on something you're passionate about or something you can really take pride in, you will enjoy the process that much more. So when choosing your niche, you should also think in terms of your own interests, right? So like if you're a soccer fan, you can embroider jerseys for kids' teams or unique hats and t-shirts for fans. If you love dogs, you can embroider dog collars. The key is finding a niche that there is already an audience for, but one that isn't overly saturated. You don't want to choose something no one has ever heard of either, because then no one will be searching for you and it'll be really hard to find customers. Once you choose the niche you want to tap into, it is time to start making. And if you're not a master of your craft yet, you won't be able to sustain a loyal customer base and you'll probably crash and burn before you really make any money. So practice, practice, practice. Yes, you will spend money on supplies for products that you may never sell, but it's worth it if it means you creating those first few test products first before offering them for sale to the public. Having said that, I also don't want you to be stuck in the practice loop and never put your products out there for people to see. I know it can be scary. The first few products I ever sold, I'm really embarrassed to look at them now. So there's definitely a balance that you want to strike there. When you're practicing, you don't need to be treading water in the deep and trying to figure everything out on your own, okay? Watch YouTube tutorials, read some step-by-step embroidery blogs, and even maybe invest in some professional education if you can. The more you can learn, the better your craft will be. When I was starting out, I took the time to educate myself on everything polymer clay related so that I wasn't making a poor quality product. Once you've mastered the craft, gather your supplies and set up a workplace. You want to buy enough supplies for a single collection of products, like maybe 10 to 15 unique items, so you can see what customers want to buy before you spend too much money and waste supplies making too much of a less popular product. You might think you know exactly what your customers will want, but you really don't know until you get your work out there. So don't assume your favorite will be their favorite. For an embroidery business, the supplies you will need are pretty straightforward. The biggest decision you'll need to make is whether or not you want an embroidery machine and which type to invest in. It might be a good idea to buy a machine and not try to embroider everything by hand. Without a machine, you are limiting your business because you simply won't be able to keep up with high demand, and you will be forced to sell far fewer products that take tenfold times as long to make. So if you love making embroidery by hand, you can still make a select number of customized hand embroidered products from time to time, but make sure that those aren't the most popular products you sell. You basically don't want to limit your capacity to sell. So which machine should you buy? It really depends on what you want to make. There are some machines that are better for patches, some that are better for really intricate stuff. So if you buy a machine with multiple needles, you'll have to pay a lot more, but you will also be able to design more detailed, elaborate products faster. The most highly recommended machine is the Brother PE800 5x7 embroidery machine, which costs around $1,200 as of this recording. If you don't want to spend that much money, a less expensive option is the Brother SE600, which sells for around $600. But it's really designed for beginners more than for professionals. Other supplies include embroidery thread, stabilizers and toppings, fusible interfaces, adhesive sprays, disappearing ink pens, embroidery snips, ballpoint needles, hoops, fabrics, things to embroider, and computer software to create your designs. Altogether, depending on the products you choose, the cost could be anywhere between $1,500 to a few $1,000s. That might be a bit on the high end for what most of us are expecting, but don't forget that you can start off by doing embroidery by hand at first until you can save up enough to buy a machine. Once you've set up your workspace and gathered your supplies, you can set up your own online shop. Your website will be the center of your business, so make sure to take the time to take high quality product photos, and you can watch my videos on taking product photos to learn how. Choose a theme that you will love for your shop and create a website that's just really user-friendly for your customers, because then they're more likely to buy. If you've seen my other videos, you know I recommend creating your website through Shopify. Shopify allows you to be in control of your own business, so you don't have to be a victim to the changing rules and search algorithms of Etsy or Amazon, and you also don't have to share a percentage of your sales with them. Now, you can set up a shop on Etsy or Amazon, but I really don't recommend relying on those for your sole income. When you have your own site, you are giving yourself so much more freedom and control, and relying on no one else but yourself is a recipe for long-term success and stability. Your products also won't be featured alongside a ton of your competitors' products or just risk getting lost in the feed. It might sound scary to build your own website. How will anyone find it, right? Well, that's where great marketing comes into play. You will need to market your business if you want to build a customer base. That's true whether you're selling on Etsy or on your own site. So you may as well drive traffic to a site that's all yours, right? There are so many ways to market your product. You can post on social media, which everyone else is doing, but I found that organic social media posts are a really slow and unreliable way to market your product. After all, you're pretty much relying on customers to search for your hashtag on Instagram or to stumble on your post among the others that's already out there, and there's a ton of competition on social media as well. Paid ads on Instagram and Facebook are a lot more effective because they reach a targeted audience of people who will have an interest in your product. Still, this can add up and you might not be able to afford to run ads all day, every day in the beginning. Plus, it's also pretty technical, so don't do Facebook ads without training. A few years ago, I hired a number of ad agencies to take on my marketing for me, but I found that I was spending a lot of money for very little results. So I would definitely avoid using an agency and just learn how to do marketing yourself first. In my experience, the number one marketing strategy that is so underrated is influencer marketing and media outreach. This is how one of my products ended up on an episode of Parks and Recreation. And when people see influencers that they love using a product, they connect with that product on an emotional level, and they deeply trust the review of the person using it. Or just the fact that the person's using it, that tells a whole story, right? Because of that, they're much more likely to buy your product. Now, I know that reaching out to mega influencers might not be realistic, especially when you're just starting out. But the good news is that you don't need Kim Kardashian wearing your embroidered hat in order to get the word out there. There are thousands of influencers that are not Kim Kardashian and who are so much more approachable, and they are eager to make new partnerships with small businesses to connect to their followers. So by helping you, they're actually helping themselves too, because they are always looking for content and new cool products to show off to their followers. You will have to provide the influencer or the person you're sending stuff to with free products so they can actually experience your product. And you might be hesitant to do that, but let me tell you, it is just so worth it. Because when their followers see their favorite influencer sporting an embroidered product made by you, they will come running. Not only that, but these influencers might be followed by bigger influencers with a larger number of followers. And that bigger influencer might see your product, fall in love with it, and want to help you spread the word about your shop as well. Now, having said that, not all influencer collaborations are going to translate to traffic and sales, but you have to do them at scale. So don't reach out to just one influencer and expect that to change your world, okay? Just like everything else in your business, whatever you're doing, it's about consistent effort. My product was featured on Parks and Recs because a blogger posted about it, and the Parks and Recs costume designer happened to see that post. That was a huge day for my shop, and sales have been at that $200,000 level a year ever since that happened. Don't limit yourself to just Instagram influencers either, and definitely reach out to YouTubers, bloggers, and magazine editors as well. Starting a handmade embroidery business might feel intimidating, especially with so much competition. But when you pick a niche, build an awesome Shopify website, and do outreach, you'll be so much more likely to stand out, grab attention, and get people to buy. If you have an embroidery business, comment below about one thing you wish you knew when starting out so we can help out our community here. Then subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on the latest advice for handmade business owners. And stay tuned for the next video to start. See you next time.